Hello. Slight format change. What I have for you today is this. My boy Broly versus Vegeta. It's actually the result of a Twitter poll I had to see what I was going to be doing on one of my streams. If you want to be part of deciding some of the projects I'm going to focus on for both this channel and my stream, don't forget to follow me there. During this video, I also want to talk real quick about fan art. Not so much like an in-depth look at it, but what I've gleaned for the past 2-ish years that I've been doing it. So let's jump right in. I decided to talk about this for my first changed format video because it's just been rolling around in my head for a while now. For the past 2 years, I've actually been going to conventions. It wasn't a common thing for me before. I didn't exactly know it as something I was supposed to do to really get out there. So it's been an interesting experience for me, and I took some advice early on to try to at least mix in a little bit of fan art with your original content. That way you can actually pull people to your table and get them to go, ooh, I know that character, but what's this over here? It just seems like the common mindset at a convention is, I'm going to go here because I'm a huge fan of X comic, and I want to find things there that are related to it. Completely understandable, I get it. And to a degree, I did try and make sure that what I was producing was either in my own style or given an interesting spin that really is unique to my mindset. People seem to enjoy my Calvin and Hobbes as Link and Navi, my Spider-Man, Superman, and Hellboy done in a little bit darker of a style than normal. It all seemed very logical, and through interviews I've watched with other artists, they've even landed whole careers based off some really good fan art. Companies apparently look towards people creating their characters in new and interesting ways to possibly think of, the next step. Where do we take this to the next level to get more people interested? And through it all, I managed to keep up with my own intellectual properties. I even released, a small run of a artist sketchbook showing kind of where a bunch of those ideas have been going. But through it all, it still feels like it's not right. I mean, I'm basically appropriating someone else's IP, someone else's life, to try to get them to look at me instead. I'm not going so far as to take an already existing image and trying to copy it, or even just take the image itself and put it through a Photoshop filter and try to sell it as my own work. That's an actual thing, and it happens constantly. But that all kind of changed at the only convention I've really been able to get to this year. I had to share a table with another artist just because I didn't really want to pony up for the full table. I'm definitely doing that for the next one. And with all my work pinned up and tacked up for everyone to see and check out, he proceeded to have this conversation with a prospective buyer of art, about how fan art is the worst and it shouldn't be at any convention anywhere, and that it's a miserable blight on the art society as a whole. And because of the type of person I am, the self-doubt and all that, it starts to play around in my head. Thankfully, a minute later, not even a minute really, the guy he was talking to starts pointing out that in all the books he was flipping through and all the things on this guy's desk, 90% of it was technically fan art. He had head sketches of the people from Walking Dead, as well as a handful of satire pieces that directly used other people's characters to try to make a point. It immediately put him on the defensive. He started talking about, well, that's not real fan art, it's me using it to do my own agenda stuff, and really, it's no different. For the rest of the day, he pretty much just kept waving people down, take a look at my stuff, check it out, let's talk, let me go over the cool art that I create, and people would just look at it and go, ooh, interesting, there's Walking Dead characters in this book, that's awesome. What else do you have that's not your own things, because we're not really interested in that from you. He did a couple fan art sketch covers for people. And the whole time, he just kept championing this idea that he was creating original work only. Now on the flip side, with my table, for those who haven't guessed, I am extremely antisocial. It's kind of hard to do these little talking segments on YouTube videos. It makes it very hard to talk naturally, which is why I prefer it when I go to a convention to have my friends with me, because they'll actually interact with people more than I ever could. It's great to have that kind of hype crew behind me. I'm working on it though. So without really talking to anyone that walked by other than an occasional hello, I still had a slew of people swing by just because of the images that I had floating around of characters they were intrigued with. It led to some sales, as well as conversations about my own characters, even leading to sales of original work that I had as well. And for the first time in my very short convention-going career, I had actually someone swing by my table who remembered me from a prior show. She was super excited to run back into me, especially since I had an image she really wanted but wasn't able to buy at the last show she was at. It was a piece of fan art, Calvin and Hobbes as Link and Navi, and it made her day. How is that not a good thing? I mean, that's really the reason why I set out to show people what I can do in the first place. I want them to find enjoyment from what I can create. And if it leads them to enjoying the things I create for myself, I really just don't see the downside. The next time I go to this convention, I'm definitely buying a full table. And not really because I don't want to sit next to someone who's just going to belittle things that other people enjoy, but because for some reason, everyone he called over to the table thought that we were like a duo of artists and that everything he was showing them was pretty much my work as well, and they just didn't enjoy it and left before they even came over to my half of the table. There's no way in hell I am falling for that one again. Thanks for listening, or maybe you muted this little rant and just enjoyed the art. I'm going to be making prints of this very soon, so they'll probably end up on my online shop. And as always, this is YouTube. If you have your own opinion, you can drop it down in the comments below. Or if you want to hear me touch on another subject, you can always drop some suggestions down there as well. The next video I have planned is just going to be me going over all the tools that I use currently. Hopefully I can get you guys a little better understanding about things you have access to but maybe just don't know about. Because for real, white acrylic ink has changed my life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.